Hello, troopers,
Hello.
and welcome back to the 501st Commentator with your wonderful hosts, myself, Will.
And Chloe.
Hey guys,
Hello.
we know you missed us last week, but we had some personal matters to attend to, like personal trips and that, so we weren't available, I'm afraid. But we are back with a bumper episode today.
It's going to be a long one, guys.
We've got plenty to talk about because of the 2 weeks, the week that we weren't here last week.
Mhm.
So we have 2 episodes of Bad Batch to break down.
Yep.
We have Tales of the Empire trailer, which they released while we were doing
Our episode last time.
I know, unbelievable, wasn't
I
it?
know, we got off and we were like, what?
Very cool. And we also have some Jedi Outlaws news for you guys.
Yep.
So
The new game.
So we've got plenty to talk about. This weekend just gone, we just come back from London. And we visited Madame Two Swords and had a little check out at the little Star Wars exhibition.
Yeah.
So we got some pics to show you of that as well in today's episode.
Yeah.
But we're going to start off with the news as always.
Yep.
So let's start us off. Let's get us going. Right back to the start. Should have thought about
There's
this.
a lot to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there we go.
Hey.
So we're starting off with a hot toy.
Mm-hmm.
I think you sent me this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, isn't it? Do you want to tell them about it?
It is very cool. So this is another one to join the Hot Toy Ahsoka collection from the series. So far we've had many. We've had Captain Rex, we've had Ahsoka herself, we had younger Ahsoka, we've had Hera, like there's been so many. But now we have younger Anakin Skywalker from in the Clone Wars
Flashback.
Flashback, yeah. So this one is obviously going to go really well for people that have bought the younger version of Ahsoka, or if they're just a big Anakin fan.
Even a Clone Wars fan, this one
yeah.
will go nicely with it.
Very cool. These figures are very expensive, but they look so realistic, and this looks just like Hayden. So
yeah,
so cool.
So you have a little look,
and like the little skin details and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, like the scar and just the little, the way the skin's done, and it's just like that. That is Hayden down to T. I should know. I've been there with Hayden, like up close. I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
But it's just very well done. Even like the way that the eyes are done.
Mm-hmm. They just look so realistic.
Like if I showed you that and took all the writing off,
yeah,
you didn't say anything, you would probably be like,
you'd have to do like a double take. Like, what do you mean that's a figure?
I'm like, his hair looks a little bit
like
sort of almost greasy, but like no, it's a figure.
Yep.
Very cool figure with that. There's a better one looking at his his outfit.
Yeah.
This one doesn't have as many changeable features, I believe. Yeah. Like, I think his head, he has 2 heads, like 2 facial expressions.
Oh, okay.
So there's like 2 heads. Obviously, I think you can change the hands to like closed, open, whatever.
Yeah. In case you wanted him holding his lightsaber on a different hand, or
well, I don't know why you would want that, but
yeah,
it definitely. I think this is one of probably the pose I would have him in.
Yeah.
I just think it's what you would expect from him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
he does look very cool and very accurate to the show.
Yes, and the little markings and battle damage on his robes and little very cool. So we've got some Lego news. We got the Phantom Menace brick heads.
Yeah. So because it's is it 25 years since the
Yes.
Phantom Menace? So they're bringing out a lot of Phantom Menace stuff this year, including Funkos, Loungeflies, and now we've got some Lego sets as well. So for those of you that like the Lego Brickheads, we've got Phantom Menace ones now. So I think this is quite a big set. Like you get a lot of Lego figs out of it. Like not the traditional minifigs, but the Brickhead figs.
Yeah.
So in this set alone, you get Little Annie, you get Queen Amidala, Jar Jar Binks, one of I don't know
Captain
what he's called.
Panaka.
Captain Panaka.
The Queen's like bodyguard.
Yeah, one of her like guards, and then Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn. Now I have seen videos where people were a bit disappointed on this set because it doesn't include Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I don't know. I feel like to improve it, they maybe should have put Obi-Wan instead of the Captain Panaka. But we have had Obi-Wan brickheads before, like from different. I'm sure we had a Kenobi one with him and Vader.
Yeah, and I'd imagine it would probably be quite similar to the Qui-Gon in a way.
Yeah.
You know, so
True.
Captain Panaka is something a bit different. I'm not really a fan of the brickheads. Brickhead's just something that not really take my fancy, but it's a cool set.
Yeah, especially if you're a Phantom Menace fan, then.
Yeah, other sort of Phantom Menace sets coming out because obviously we've got the May 1st release coming out.
We do.
We have a buildable droidica,
sort
of like the R2D2 one. Looks quite cool.
Yep.
There is also the Sith Infiltrator set that's coming out. Then we have the pod racing diorama from, I think it's like Little Anakin and Sebulba in the canyon. I think that's it. But then obviously they've announced a gift with purchase for the May event. So you have like a buildable, or well, not buildable, but like a droid troop carrier sort of deploy thing, a Yavin anniversary coin. I can't remember the Separatist tank. There's like a little polybag build. So yeah, there's some cool stuff, and there's also coming out a Cody brickheads, which does look quite cool. Again, like I said, I know I'm not a brickhead fan, but can't help but be like, yeah, that's
cool.
That's a cool one.
And he's got his like
his little hologram.
Yeah, the little hologram thing where he's like, Commander Cody, execute order 66.
yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, very cool.
So we have also some new figs.
Yes. So this one and the next one we're going to show you, they're both Target exclusive at the moment. So I don't think we can get them here in the UK. However, for our American viewers, these are Target exclusives. So this is Mandalorian Privateer. So his armor is very similar to Axwo's. So yeah, he's part of that clan. Very cool little figure. Probably not one that I would want to get, but
yeah, definitely not. I mean, I thought it was a lot of Axwell when I first saw it. So
it just looked very similar. And this one again is Target exclusive, but this one's really cool actually. So we get R5, 2 of the pit droids, and then the BD droid from the Mandalorian. So these are all like Pelly's lot of droids basically.
And this is BD-72.
Yeah,
so for all those people that were wondering
if this was BD-1, it's not.
Yeah. I just noticed. Those are like spanners and tools and that.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were like little lightsabers. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's if you're a bit of a fan of Pele, like Pele. So yeah, that's quite cool. So here we have some of our photos from Madame Tussauds. I've only put a few of the ones that we captured because there was a lot.
Yeah.
some of them are quite good.
Mhm.
Some of them not so good. But yes, so this is obviously the first bit with Phantom Menace,
Mhm.
which I thought was quite cool. It's like the whole little area is as if you're on the bit where they're fighting in Naboo.
Naboo.
This one I was a little bit not too sure on. This is Anakin from
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
I must admit, it doesn't look like Hayden. But
no. But
it's a great attempt, and I did really like the costume that he's wearing, and his saber looked pretty cool. But
yes, and obviously, if you're not, if you're a Star Wars fan, but you're not that, if you're like a young kid or something, you're like, oh my god, it's Anakin.
Yeah.
You're not going to be paying too much attention to how he looks, but it's not the best one, but it's all right. So.
We have Han Solo. Me chilling with Han Solo.
Again, not the best.
No. It didn't look a lot like Harrison Ford, I must say. But it was nice how they included Han Solo.
Yeah, it was a cool little scene, like who shot
and again,
first.
outfits are spot on.
True. This was quite fun. This is a cool one.
Me and Chewie.
Yeah. I did get a video as well as this one, which is quite funny because if you press the
red button, and it goes to hyperspace.
Yeah. And you're like, whoa!
Yeah. It's very fun.
So, yeah, that was quite cool. The Chewie was alright, actually, in fairness.
C-3PO and R2-D2.
Those two were very good as well. I did really like those two.
Yeah. They were good. I think the only thing I would say is R2-D2's head wasn't as like chrome as it is in the film.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like a bit more grey, but still
because if you
cool.
look at C-3PO, he's very chrome.
Yeah. Very cool though. These were very cool.
Yeah, a couple of
stormtroopers.
Very cool looking stormtroopers.
Yeah. I like them.
Yeah. Those were good.
Darth Vader!
I've been betrayed.
No.
Vader said, "Come with me," and Chloe immediately said, "Yeah, right."
Yay!
Unbelievable. But yeah, I thought this was really cool because it's got the light on your face.
Yeah, the Vaders did look really, really nice.
I really like this Yoda with the sort of Dagobah sort of swamp look.
Yeah, he was cool.
Looks a lot as well like the sort of Yoda.
Yeah, in which we actually seen parts of the puppet.
I know, we've seen the real one. Had
Slave Leia and Jabba the Hutt.
And Salacious.
And Salacious B. Crumb, we can't forget him.
But no, that again, it was very cool. And I know it's quite hard because obviously these two, for example, aren't exactly like waxworks, but I mean, still quite a cool little exhibit thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the stormtroopers and that, I thought it was a bit funny because they're not really wax figures because it's just plastic kind of.
It's plastic armor, isn't it?
Armor, yeah. Mark Hamill looked very good.
Yes, this was quite good. I know you can't really see it, but yeah, that does.
Looks like Mark Hamill.
Yeah, and then obviously burnt Palpatine.
Palpatine.
I just thought it was really, again, a really cool picture.
Yeah, definitely worth the trip there if you're near London.
Yeah, and especially not just if a Star Wars fan, but there was someone there that everyone would be entertained with, and then obviously we finished with a Rey and a BB-8.
Yeah,
which is quite cool.
Yeah.
So just before we go on to the episode breakdowns and the trailers.
Oh, actually, show them. From Madame Tussauds, we got a couple little things.
Yes.
Let's minimize this. So from Madame Tussauds, they had some coin machines,
penny presses.
So what have we got?
So we got the Vader one there. Can't really see it. It's really.
You can't see it.
We'll have to put it on our Insta.
We've got a
R2D2 sort of gold
R2D2,
commemorative coin,
and then on the back it's got
like Star Wars. And
Star Wars.
we'll put it on the Insta. And
Yeah.
So go check out our like Instagrams and that. We'll show you our weekend in London.
Yeah. We'll have to post some pictures.
Cool. So I have here some more pictures that they released from the upcoming Acolyte series.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be very honest. My excitement for the Acolyte has gone right up. Now, the reason why is I've got back into listening to my audiobooks, and I've decided to listen to the High Republic
Novels.
eras and novels, and going to start reading the comics. But I'm doing it in order at the minute. So I did Light of the Jedi, which is like the first one that they recommend you to read to get into, and it goes on about the sort of big disaster, and it's a really good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say I really like the High Republic era. Like, I know a lot of people, if you're like, oh, would you want to be a Jedi in the sort of prequel era? Most people would be like, no, not really. It's all corrupt, and the Jedi have lost their way.
Mm-hmm.
Here, in the High Republic era, these guys are at their peak, and I want to be a High Republic Jedi. Like, they're so much more powerful in the Force, and like some of the technologies and stuff that they have, like, you know, it's just incredible. And there's also a major threat as well. I'm not going to spoil anything, but so we got some more pictures from the Acolyte.
Yeah.
So we got, I can't remember this guy's name, but clearly he's using the Force. This is May, I believe. Yeah, I think she's meant to be what they're showing in the promotional images on the trailer, that she's like the main protagonist.
Yeah.
But I don't think she is. I think there's like someone else, and she's doing her own thing, sort of thing. Now, this is a really interesting one, right?
Yeah.
Because this is Master Soul, that obviously we see in the trailer. And for those of you who have started reading the comics and the novels of the High Republic era, this is a character from the books and the comics. This is well, by the looks of it here, she's a lot older than when I first got introduced to her. But I believe this is Venestra. Venestran, I can't remember. But yeah, she's basically like a main character in the High Republic comics, and she's quite cool. And I will always say as well, right? I have to spoil this because this is really cool. She has a very extraordinary lightsaber. She has a thing called a light whip, right?
Okay.
So basically, if she activates it, it's like a purple lightsaber. But if she then like turns the emitter, it becomes like a whip, like whoosh, whoosh, but as a lightsaber version.
What?
It's so cool. And apparently we are seeing this light whip in this series. So I'm very excited to see Venestra in this. Again, I just love the sort of detail on the robes of the Jedi. This is the High Republic. Be part of it. And then again, this image I think is really cool, seeing all the different like colors and lightsabers, and you know, just this is going to be a fun series, and I'm really excited for it now. So going in, we got the I think it was last week. we got the Star Wars Outlaws story trailer, which I thought was quite cool. So basically, things that I little things that I've noticed in the trailer that we're gonna just quickly mention. The trailer starts out on Canto Bites, I believe. The place from Last Jedi, the gambling casino.
Yeah.
And there's a meeting between some of the most powerful criminal organizations.
Familiar faces.
As well, yes. So this guy here is sort of heading the meeting, and his name is Solero, and Solero, yes, and he is the boss of the Zarek Besh criminal organization. They're new, they're lethal, and they're rich. And basically, Kay, our main girl here, stole from them.
Oh, okay.
Or crossed them, shall we say, and Solero wants her dead. And she's now one of the most infamous outlaws, scoundrels in the galaxy. But yeah, at this meeting, we have someone from the Pikes, Crimson Dawn, and the person representing Crimson Dawn is the head, Kira.
Yeah.
The one from Solo, and which is really cool that they've brought it again. They're bringing in characters that we know, but don't exactly need to be the main character.
No.
And some Weequay representing the Hutts, which is quite cool.
He's like a pirate looking.
Yeah, he looks a bit like Hondo, but he's there representing the Hutt.
Yeah.
And he Solero basically says the Empire's taken over the galaxy, but they're distracted and busy with this rebellion that just won't stop. So this is the perfect opportunity for us to be let's get rich. Yeah. Let's sort of stop our little fighting and let's work together almost and get money. Yeah. Which is quite cool. This is set between Return of the Jedi and Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
So this is basically almost at the height of the Empire. This isn't they're up and coming or they're still new. This is full-fledged Empire.
Yeah.
We see that in the trailer, we see Han Solo in carbonite. Kay's looking at him.
Yeah.
Then we do also see that she's in Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
And we see Jabba and Salacious, and we hear the oh.
Yeah. That was cool to see.
Yeah. And I mean, she's very brave because she's like, oh, you must be Jabba. I warn you not to try anything. I've got this place surrounded by It's you're brave lying and saying that to Jabba. Bloody hell. So yeah, and we also see in that little scene the Twi'lek that we see in Return of the Jedi dancing. I can't remember her name, but she has got her name. But we see her sort of off to the side.
She was at one of the Comic-Cons recently.
Yes, I believe she was actually. So we see that. And we also see that her little companion here is called Nix.
He's very cute.
Cute little alien companion, as they always have.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, his little noises and little things is D. Bradley Baker.
Is it?
Yeah. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
D. Bradley Baker is the one that is doing the voice of this little creature. Shows how talented he is.
Yeah.
I'm personally looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be something different. It's just an era when we're seeing Star Wars from a different point of view in terms of, while this isn't connected to the rebellion and the Empire, we're seeing the criminal organization. So I'm personally looking forward to the game. I will be getting the game.
Yeah.
Now, there has been a lot of controversy with this announcement, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft has announced that there will be a season pass.
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously will mean like you can unlock rewards and that. And they have mentioned that one of the missions for Jabba the Hutt
Mm-hmm.
is only available on the season pass, and that has caused a lot of uproar.
Yeah.
They have got a lot of backlash because of that. And I will say as well that I think it's wrong that you're having to include a mission with a character like Jabba on a season pass as like a DLC. But they have tried to calm everyone and said that isn't the only Jabba mission. Like you can meet Jabba and do a mission or do missions involving him without buying the season pass. But it's still annoying because everyone wants to do the Jabba the mission,
Yeah.
But yeah, so here, so these prices are obviously in dollar, but they are very similar to the prices in the pounds.
Yeah.
So I believe the normal version, standard edition, is $69.99. A lot of money.
Yeah.
The gold edition, I believe, is £104 something, and the ultimate edition is coming up at $129.99. So again, I think that works out at about 126-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, I can't remember who it was, but I did see a video before we came on here giving a shout out to a company called Monster Shop. Now, Monster Shop are selling the gold edition for £53. Now, he does say that he's used them before. They are a reliable source. They don't take the money straight away. They will only, they'll do it sort of around the pre-order. And obviously with the gold edition, you get 3 days early access and you get the season pass, which will include the Jabba mission everyone is wanting to do.
Yeah.
So after this episode, I'm probably going to go pre-order my Star Wars Outlaws gold edition, because at the end of the day, that price is cheaper than I'd be paying for the standard edition.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, here's a quick little look for you guys at what you get if you decide to go for the Ultimate Edition. You get the Kessel Run bonus pack. Includes 2 upcoming story DLCs, including obviously Jabba. The Kessel Run cosmetic, so it's by the looks of it, it's like a Han Solo outfit.
Yeah.
A digital art book, ultimate pack, so by the looks of it, like different cosmetics for your speeder, for yourself. Yeah, you get a lot, but I don't think it's worth that much money. So, but yeah, if you are into that, by all means, go ahead and get it, please.
Yeah.
So, I don't think these are in particular any order, but we have some photos from Tales of the Empire.
We do. So this, like we said earlier, got released as we were doing our episode last time.
We literally finished the episode, and I looked on my phone, and it was like the poster for it had been released.
And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a trailer!" We quickly watched the trailer. We were like, "Why did this have to come out right now when we were doing the episode?" But anyway, so we got Tales of the Empire now. So everyone was expecting Tales of the Jedi Season 2, now we've got Tales of the Empire, which
This makes more sense, in my opinion.
it does. Yeah.
Because Tales of the Jedi was really good, and it focused on two different stories that we all wanted to see.
Yeah.
But Tales of the Empire, bridging that gap between the end of the Republic and the full-fledged Empire, and two characters that we didn't really get much of a backstory for after what we'd seen them in previously.
Yeah, definitely. So we see a lot of familiar faces that we're very excited for. I think also this is going to give a huge backstory to a lot of series, like especially Ahsoka, because we've got Thrawn, we've got Morgan Elsbeth. I mean, Morgan Elsbeth was also Mando as well, so it's kind of like, how did she get to that? How did she get to Corvus? So anyway, so we see Thrawn, but
shall we say who the two main stories are to start with?
Yeah.
So just as a little pre-thing,
So it's going to be Barriss.
It's Barriss Offee, and it's going to be Morgan Elsbeth. Like the Tales of the Jedi was Dooku and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So we've got Barriss and Morgan.
Yeah.
Two different stories, but both sort of quite an interesting take, especially the Barriss one, in my opinion. But
yeah, definitely. Because I think we don't know an awful lot about Barriss. Like, we know obviously she was Jedi. We know she framed Ahsoka. But other than that, there's not really much information on what happened after Ahsoka's
we don't know anything
trial.
what happened to her.
Like, we want to know. So now we're going to find out what happened to Barriss after Order 66 and everything. And we're going to find out more about Morgan Elsbeth, which, there's not an awful lot about her either. How did she become a Night Witch? Like, how did she know Thrawn before the things that happened in Ahsoka, So, also, I seen a video, someone pointed out that when you watch it with the subtitles on, it just says Admiral Thrawn, not Grand Admiral. So
if you also look at his, what do you call it, lapel?
Yeah.
His, like, on the Imperial uniforms, they have, like, different colours and that meaning different ranks.
Yeah.
I think his is just, like, all blue or something, which means Admiral, so he hasn't been promoted yet.
So I've not read the Thrawn books, but because he's not Grand Admiral, this has to be set between the first and the second novel. So there you go for you book lovers. We also get to see, so obviously the trailer is a bit back and forth, but we get to see Morgan Elsbeth, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she became so loyal to Thrawn in Ahsoka, and we see a younger version of her. There's also another name drop, General Grievous. So he's on Dathomir.
Yep, we get flashback scenes to the fall of Dathomir, when Grievous and the sort of separatists took on the Night Witches, and they do make in this trailer, mind, they make Grievous like really menacing, and I think it's really interesting because I know we've all sort of seen Grievous from the perspective of like Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars, and he was a bit of a pain and an annoyance, but like just the way that he comes across in this show with the
you can see why people
he's really like menacing, in my opinion. Like he looks really like almost like scary. Like look at the detail like on the art, like on his face and that. But just this like one bit here where there's like a Night Sister like walking around, he's just like crawling. To someone who's not like a Jedi at that, this is, This is what you would have been seeing coming after you. That's terrifying.
And I think another thing with General Grievous is the fact he carries around Jedi lightsabers as well, because that's his whole thing, like stealing people's lightsabers. But it's like, to anyone that doesn't know much about Jedi or Sith, like in the Star Wars universe, they could take a glance at him and be like, "Oh, he has a blue and a green lightsaber. He's a Jedi." And then all of a sudden, he's he's on the side of the bad people. So it's like, he's almost like a trick as well, isn't he? So yeah, we have Grievous and Morgan Elsbeth on Dathomir, which I think that'll be very cool. Also, Barriss Offee. So we can see by the trailer, she's going to turn into an Inquisitor, is what we believe. So we see the fourth sister, this is the fourth sister. So we first seen her in Kenobi. So she is an Inquisitor that works for Vader, the Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother, and Reva. She's part of that gang. So we see a shot of her going into like almost like a cell that Barriss is in, and she's like, "Oh, come with me."
Have you noticed as well? If you look at this picture,
yeah,
she's not in Inquisitor robes yet. Like, she's in her Jedi robes there, which is really interesting. And obviously, we get Coruscant Guard.
So maybe we'll see them both turn into Inquisitors. Maybe she's not yet.
Maybe she's been given a sort of opportunity to turn into an Inquisitor, and she's sort of given Barriss the chance to as well.
Yeah. And also, I like this shot with the two Coruscant Guards. It's like they are still on Palpatine's side, you know.
Yeah. So this is still, I would say, early days into the Empire, because obviously they're still in their Coruscant Guard armor. They haven't fully. Yeah. But then we do get a really interesting shot in a little bit where we get these clones like sort of escorting Barriss.
Yeah.
And they're in a very like grey, black chrome, or not chrome, but like black, dark, almost like, do you remember in the start of the Bad Batch when Crosshair got his Imperial armor and he had those clones or those normal troopers in the clone armor? That looks like that armor. Do you know what I mean? But it looks really menacing.
Yeah, it does. And we see scenes where she's being trained by the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, like this one here.
So there's a scene where there's a bunch of lightsabers on a desk, and she somehow picks.
Well, I think he hands it to her. I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a bet, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna make a prediction already for this.
Okay.
So when we first see Barriss, she's obviously in prison, and she's in the Republic prison uniform of like orange jumpsuit with like the white bit over her head, just like Luminara. Now we know that Luminara survived the start of Order 60, the end of Order 60, because they used her like sort of body to draw other ones in.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, that green lightsaber is going to be Luminara's lightsaber.
Yeah, I thought that.
Because obviously they would have it because they captured her. And what sort of better way for the Inquisitor to be like, here's your former master's lightsaber.
Yeah.
That if we're going to do a bingo again for this, I'm telling you, that is Luminara's lightsaber.
Oh, it might be.
Called it now. Feeling it.
I mean, it seems, I don't know, like the fact that she picked a green one is like, it's because of her master, isn't it?
He is a master's one,
I reckon. Yeah. There's also a scene where we see all the Inquisitors together, and they're like, "This is your new master," and then we see Darth Vader walking in.
But it is quite cool because we have fourth sister, Barriss, and obviously her head's now covered, so she's part of the Inquisitors.
And now
Marok.
we see Marok, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, wonder what happened to him.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the first brother or something. This is
Yes.
the one Ahsoka kills at the ends of Tales of
Jedi.
In that really anticlimactic battle, even though he looked really cool.
He did.
Ahsoka was just like, hop.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
He was a bit too easy to kill, I think.
Yeah.
However, it's nice that they brought them back and we can see a bit more of a backstory to them, especially Marok, because in Ahsoka, obviously, he gets beat in battle, and then there's just like this smoke that comes out of him, like
Night Sister.
the same smoke that like when the Night Sisters would reincarnate their own, and then they get killed, and then it's just this green smoke. So,
but also what I think is really interesting is Marok here is the link between Barriss and Morgan, because obviously we know that Morgan ends up with Marok at some point, because like after the war and all that. So it'd be really interesting to see if their paths like cross in this, and it's a way of like the stories connecting, which would be quite cool. I don't think they will, but it would be quite cool.
But also we need to see if it was if something happened to Marok and it was what's her name, Morgan Elsbeth, who like reincarnated him, and that's why he's with her in Ahsoka. That
would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was quite cool. Also, like you were saying, when the Grand Inquisitor says, to meet your new master, and we see that Vader. Well, we see sort of his feet and legs.
Yeah.
And then he walks past the Inquisitors, who are now like
his outfit and his breathing. We know it's Darth Vader.
But all the Inquisitors are sort of knelt, as in like, we serve you.
Yeah.
But really interestingly, as Vader walks past Barriss, her head like lifts, and it's like, do you reckon a lot of people are like, does she know like who it is? Possibly. Has she sensed?
Yeah,
Anakin?
It's like Anakin's still in there, isn't he? And because she used to be a Jedi, it's like, ooh, is that Anakin?
Yeah. Like, did I just sense? But then obviously that's a very dangerous game in itself.
It is. But yeah.
But no, this trailer looked very good. We had like young Morgan.
Yeah, we had a lot of nice
with
shots
her
of
like
Morgan.
ciphers going up against Grievous, and
then she has the Beskar spear when she's like older.
Yeah, I think I also got.
And there's a shot of Corvus as well. But yeah, very cool. And there's also scenes where she has almost like these stripes on her face as well, which.
And she seems to have them when she's fighting Grievous, though.
Yeah, so I don't know if she's like she used to paint that on her face, almost like a war marking,
Maybe. I think she's because obviously when she attacks Grievous, her sort of ciphers sort of light up with magic to sort of be able to survive the lightsabers.
Yeah.
So I reckon she's channeling some sort of power to like be able to confront him. And then I think a lot of people have been like, this is after the fall of Dathomir, but the planet just looks a bit off a little bit. Like it's not as red, but again, this does look like Morgan after the initial attack. So but I'm looking
very cool. I'm looking forward to that series, 100%.
Yeah. So we go on to the Bad Batch.
So you have
episode 12.
Episode 12 and episode 13.
Yes.
We'll start with 12.
Yeah. So episode 12, the Juggernaut. We sort of start with being on Tantis, and we see that the clone assassin, I think he's like CX2 or something his name is.
Mm-hmm.
His ship arrives to Tantis in like the dark and the storms going on.
Yeah.
And he hands Omega over to Hemlock, which, you know, Hemlock's like straight away just like looks on. He's like, "Thank you so much for like surrendering, sort of making it easy or something." Like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Right, come on in."
Yep.
Takes her in to see Emery.
Like, where are you taking me? And he's like, the vault.
No, that's a little bit later.
Oh,
It's okay.
Sorry.
Because he takes her to Emery.
Yeah.
And he's like, test her immediately, like.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
And then Emery takes Omega's blood and is like,
puts it back in the machine.
Yeah, and then she's like, if it's any cause or whatever, I'm glad you're safe, sort of thing. And Omega's like, I don't believe you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Babu. Was that right? Pabu?
Pabu.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It just sounded weird when I said it. And we see the sort of aftermath. We see the Venator sort of flying overhead, but the ships are all leaving.
Yeah.
And we see Hunter and Batcher sneak into sort of the main tower bit in the middle, where Omega put Tex goggles and Lula, and we see Wrecker and Crosshair already there. And you said in the episode before, you were like, I think in the next episode, Crosshair, Hunter's going to be really mad at Crosshair for losing Omega. Turned out it was Wrecker who was really annoyed at Crosshair for losing.
Yeah, Hunter was a bit like, well, you know, I understand what you're doing, but yeah, Wrecker was like, she'll never let her escape.
Yeah, and
he's like, well, she was helping people.
If she didn't, they would have destroyed the whole place.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but they got her again.
Yeah.
Like, he's not happy.
No.
And then the floor sort of secret sort of disappears, and all the Bad Batch like, who's that? And Fee turns up with AZ.
Yeah.
From one of the sort of secret tunnels.
I thought that was
and they mention and then Crosshair mentions that he might know a way how to get sort of Tantis. And immediately Wrecker's like, you knew the whole time how to get there? And he's like, not exactly, but he's like, I know someone who might know.
Yeah. He's like, Tantis was a place I never wanted to go back to.
And you can see that his hand starts shaking and he holds it, and it's like, clearly he has some trauma there, you know. And I feel for him, to be honest. So then they sort of see with like Fee's like, well, when are we going, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we then see that there's sort of two people working on prison labor camp, and this is on Erebus. And one of them, you can clearly tell sort of straight away, is like an Ugnaught. He's like, and then one of the pipes bursts or something, and we learn that the other one is Rampart, Admiral Bloody Rampart.
I know.
The man who destroyed Camino. Get out of town. Damn. We don't like you.
Yeah.
So we see that he's, for some reason, been kept alive and is now being held in an imperial labor camp. You know, maybe they need them. They need the prisoners for work. So we see that. Then we see the sort of Fee and her ship. They have like a plan.
Yeah.
They come into Erebus, and then she sort of goes into stealth mode. Goes past a couple of Imperial cargo ships.
Yeah.
Just like literally just dive bombs and then saves it.
Yeah.
So they land on Erebus inside the sort of camp. There's quite a funny bit where they come across like a bridge, and there's two sort of TK troopers just doing their usual patrol, and one of them goes, quiet as usual, and then the other one goes, hopefully our next assignment will see some action.
Mm-hmm.
And then they both get stunned by the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So ironic.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, so then obviously they learn that Rampart's been taken back to sort of his cell or whatever.
Yeah.
From in one of these juggernauts that we see in Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
I think we see them for a little bit in Clone Wars, not a lot, but I always really liked them in Revenge of the Sith. I was like, they look really dangerous and really like powerful, and I'd want one.
Right.
So the Bad Batch infiltrate
The
Juggernaut, transporting him.
Yeah.
And there's quite a funny bit where the sensors are tripped,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them goes to check. One of the guards goes to check it out, and then the one driving's like, "Anything?" And then Wrecker's just like, "Yep," and just like smacks him. And then before they take over the sort of hold with the prisoners, Crosshair's like, "Wrecker, do you remember Plan 55?"
Mm-hmm.
And it takes Wrecker a little bit. He's like, 55, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what we did. And then obviously they take out the guards, find Rampart, and then to sort of, should we say, cause a distraction a bit, they stop, let the other prisoners just sort of go, be like a nuisance.
Yeah.
But then obviously this sort of alerts the guards in the sort of bridge tower or the gate, and they decide to start looking down the bridge, and they send another juggernaut to sort of like intercept.
Yeah.
And we get my favorite bit of the episode. It's like they sort of break through the defenses of the bridge, and then they got a one-on-one head-to-head with the juggernauts. I was like, oh my god, this is intense.
Yeah.
They take out the sort of the other juggernaut, almost use it as like a ramp, fly over it, and like out, which I thought was quite cool. And then some LA-80s are sent after it to bring it down. And we see that they take one of them down, but then the other LA-80, it's a mouthful, that one.
It
is. Sort of deploys troops on top, and the TK troopers take out the guns. And I think that was quite cool, to be honest. But then sort of they shake them off, and Fee then takes out the other LA-80, the gunship, the Republic gunship.
Yep.
And they sort of just escape in time with Rampart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
that was quite cool.
And then they all jump onto the ship.
And they sort of fly off and escape, and then we sort of go back to Tantis.
I found it really funny though how he just like chucked Rampart up on the ship.
He was just
I was just
he's just there like flopped about like get up.
Guys, just watch that clip again where the Wrecker just throws Rampart up. It's hilarious.
He's just out of it. He's just like, oh. So we get that, and then we go back to Tantis, and sort of the results sort of come back in, and it's like positive.
It's yellow.
Yep.
Damn.
And literally almost right on cue, what was his name? Doctor. That's it. Hemlock comes in. He's like, how did it go? And Emery says, her blood sample yielded a favourable M count replication. To which Hemlock's like, as expected, because we knew she was the one.
She is.
So then he's like, right, come with me.
Yeah. So he takes her to the vault.
The vault where she sees the other kids. We don't see the little baby. We don't see the little baby like Bjorn, like Ben.
Baron.
Baron.
Yes.
We don't see him, but we see like the others. I'm like, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, both of us were like wondering if he was alright. We just didn't see him.
We want him. And that's sort of the end of that episode. Oh,
And I was,
oh,
no.
ruining the meme of the week. You didn't see this, people. You didn't see it.
No.
Yeah, so I'll just take off the pictures for a minute. There we go.
Um,
So then we are on to
So 13. I must admit, at the end of last week's episode, I was like, is the baby okay? Is Baron okay? Like, what? Like, are they going to get to Tantus in time? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? So I really wanted to see the next episode after that, and I'm just like, I can't wait a week. But anyway, I waited a week, and we had it yesterday, and it was a very good episode.
It was a
13.
very good episode.
If you guys haven't watched it yet, then please go watch it and come back. So this one is called Into the Breach. I heard someone say that this is like a title to like a Shakespeare play.
No?
But essentially it's breaking out is what it means, into the breach. Like, you know, when you hear in movies like, oh, there's been a breach, it's like someone's breaking out. So at the start of the episode, same with most of them, we get a view of the Tantus like mountain. But this time it's sunlight and we have like a view of waterfalls. So
Yeah.
it's a very different atmosphere to the last couple episodes. They've been very dark, rainy, nighttime, very serious music. And now in this one, it's like almost gives you a sense of like freedom, you know, like there's hope now, not just like darkness. Also, I saw someone else mention this, and I thought it was actually a really good point. Actually, so they were comparing Tantus to the Death Star, and saying how it's something made by the Empire that's supposed to be natural looking, but it's definitely not.
Yeah.
So the Death Star, for example, it's supposed to look like a moon, but when you look at it, there's a seam in the middle, and it's made for like blowing up planets. Like, it's definitely not
natural.
It's a machine-made thing. And then the same with Tantus. They've like made this base inside what looks like a mountain, but it's quite clearly not a mountain. It's not anything that's
because it's got the little rings at the top, you know, the two different so we say levels almost of it.
Which I just thought it was quite a cool point, actually.
It is a very cool point.
This is somewhere that isn't going to last, I don't think, much like the Death Star.
Good.
So, hopefully. So we see Omega in the vault with the other kids. So we've got Jax, which is the green one, Sammy, which is the blue one, and Eva, who is the
red one.
Or is it Eva?
Eva, I think.
Eva. She's the red one with like the horns.
And
we see Ben. So Baron, I don't know how you pronounce his name. He's the like cat, panda, llama looking one. I think he looks like a llama,
it's not
personally.
a llama. It's not a bloody
you
llama.
think he looks like a cat or a panda, so I don't know. But
he's cute. We both agree he's cute.
He's very cute, and I just want to cry when I see him. He's just cute. And he's got his little teddy with him. So Sammy's just kind of carrying him around. But you can see that he's happy.
But we can also see as well, like, you can see the sort of age on Ben.
Yeah.
Because it's like all the others are sort of bored and they're playing these games.
Yeah.
Whereas Bjorn is like carrying his little teddy. But he's literally not got a care in the world. He's literally like...
He's just happy with his little teddy.
He's not aware of what's going on and what they're saying.
No.
He's just like...
And there's like a little shot where basically they're all playing with these like little chips. They're like little square chips. And he like goes to feed one to his teddy.
He's like feeding it.
It's like, you know, when you're a kid and you're like, oh, you want a little little crisp or something to Barbie doll. Like, you know,
He's so cute.
it's so sweet, and
He's becoming
he
a bit of a
looks
favourite.
happy. Yeah, definitely.
If something happens to him, I will riot.
We will cry.
I will write a letter to Dave Filoni.
We
Like,
will.
you can.
How dare you
can kill off
Bear.
anyone. Don't you dare touch this
No.
little one.
So yeah, I'm very glad to hear that he's okay, and he looks happy, even though he probably misses his mum a lot. But yeah, very cute. Also, so you see them having like this little conversation, and Omega can see that Eva has her Lula doll, like the little straw one. She's like, I like your doll. And then they sort of have a bit of a conversation, and she's like, Dr. Carr gave this to me. She's the only nice one here. And it's like,
okay, maybe there is some good in Dr. Carr. Like, maybe she will sort of betray the Empire eventually.
Yeah, and I think the fact that Omega's seen that Dr. Carr has kept her Lula doll and she's given it to this other child to make him happy, it's like, you know, she is like me. Because Omega and Dr. Carr is like, they're the same person, really.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh, we have to play these games that they've given us. And then Omega starts like playing with the like chips and stuff. And we just see a really big development in her character, I think, because when we first met Omega in season 1, it was like she was kept on Camino, but she knew no different. Whereas now, because she's been with the Batch for so long, all she's thinking in her head is like, how am I going to get out of here?
Yeah, when we first met her, she was like, again, like the development like Ahsoka.
Yeah.
We first meet her, a bit of an annoying character. You're like, not a big fan of her, you know. She was just there to be there, you know what I mean? But now she's become like the point of the story, you know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah, she's the one that's going to get them out.
Her character development is like, you know, skyrocketed, and
yeah,
she also gets like a blood test from the droid, doesn't she?
Oh yeah.
And Emery like sort of is like talking to her something like about the kids, like where did they come from, and Emery's like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then Omega watches one of the droids put like the blood samples and that in the wall. Yeah. She's like, oh, I got an idea. Yeah. And she very craftily nicks a scalpel thing. Yeah. Like a tool from the little
and Emery's not really watching her, like she's not bothered. She almost wants them to break out at this point, I think.
So.
She kind of feels bad for them, which, you know, so do we all. Also, so then it's like back and forth a bit to the Bad Batch. So Echo comes back. You see Echo.
I can't remember the planet, but it's the planet where in season 1 of the Bad Batch, where Cad Bane takes Omega. It's basically another Camino, but like in the sky. It's like, it looks like Bespin, but it's not Bespin, but it's like where it's a secret another planet that the Kaminoans used to use as like laboratories and that. And that is where the Bad Batch have gone as their like hideout, because it's the only safe sort of place left.
I just thought I'd mention, going back to the little baby, Baron, I found out his species. So he's Tarlafar. And there was one of him in Solo as well that Warwick Davis played.
I think I remember. I think he goes up to Solo and sort of congratulates him on his win.
Yeah, because I thought this was entirely new species, but yeah, I just thought I'd mention it in case some of you guys wanted to know what the species was. So anyway, yeah, Echo's back. They're on the place where the Kaminoans were. So they're trying to come up with a plan with going to Tantis, and Rampart is saying you can't go directly to Tantis. You have to stop on this Imperial Station 003.
Yeah.
To get the coordinates to go there. So basically, he's saying it's not as easy as just going there. So they're a bit annoyed at him because they're like, you never told us this, blah, blah, blah. So they've got to try and figure out a way of getting to this Imperial base without getting noticed, you know. So they give him a uniform that is it's a captain's uniform, but Rampart previously was a vice admiral. So he's been demoted, guys.
Yeah.
And he makes a funny little quote. He's like, I didn't get vice admiral on looks alone. So, you know, he's not really changed. He's still as smug and as annoying as he always has been.
Yeah.
But Echo kind of, he looks at him and he's like, well, you've been demoted. And he's just like, I hate clones.
Exactly, yeah.
But you know what? You're going to have to deal with it. And then Echo also, very sadly, gets all the paint off of Hunter's.
They scrub all the armor,
yeah.
basically. So they're literally just like black armor now.
Yeah, to make them blend in a bit better. But I thought that was very sad, and in my head I was thinking, they haven't even made like a Lego minifigure or a Funko of this like season 2 armor yet, and now we're getting rid of it.
It's gone completely. And there was that bit as well, and they kept it for like a couple of seconds, like after Hunter's helmet was done. He's just stood there looking at it for a little bit. It's like, it's so weird seeing his helmet with like out any particular markings or stuff on it. It's like,
yeah, because it used to have their old like Bad Batch symbols and stuff, and they were like, yeah, we're one with the Republic. But now it's like, there's no more Republic, so you're just plain now.
Yeah,
it was a bit sad. And I thought of all the collectibles.
Yeah.
But, you know what?
We actually have Rampart here in his.
Oh, we have Rampart in his armor.
So as you can,
Admiral.
But as you can see here as well, you can see the, the, what do you call it?
Their armor.
The clones' armor has like all been scrubbed and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very sad. Also. Admiral Rampart, or I guess he isn't an admiral.
Captain Rampart.
He says to the Bad Batch, he says, because they said to him, I think it's Crosshair that said to him, you better not mess up this mission. And he's like, I know how to be an Imperial. I can't remember what he says, but he's like, you're the ones that are going to stand out. Like overheated Gamorreans.
I think I will admit, I think that's
the title to this video.
I think it's a great line, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys don't know what Gamorreans are, they're like those green pig-looking aliens that were the guards in Jabba's palace, and there was a few in like Book of Boba Fett. Very like beefy, like
warriors.
Yeah.
But
very strong warriors, but they do stand out. So we're a bit back and forth with Omega. So we see her use we see her go to the like room to use the tool to like get the part of the wall down
to see if it is like that there is like a tube,
to see there's a way out, basically. And then we see a lady called Dr. Scolder. She notices that Omega's gone to her room, so she doesn't trust Omega at all. Like, there's a scene earlier on in the episode where she says to Emery, like, you sure that she can be sat here with them?
Do you think that's like a good idea, putting them together?
And Emery's just like, this is my mission, don't interfere. Like, I will do what I think.
I'm the head of science.
It's fine. I'm head of Project Necromancer. So anyway, then we see the scene where Dr. Scolder sees Omega go to her room, and she's like, right, I'm going down here and investigating what is going on. So she goes downstairs, and Omega, literally by the skin of her teeth, she's like, manages to put the wall back up, because she pokes it, she looks up, and then
sees that she is right.
Sees there is a way out. So then she puts everything back together and then sits on her bed and is like playing the little game, the like hollow game that they were playing. So
and then
she didn't say anything.
She's just like,
she's
hello,
like,
Dr. Scolder.
Yeah. So then she's just like, oh, okay. And then Dr. Scolder goes back. So then we're like, right, we know a way out now. Then we go back to Rampart and the Batch. So they get into this Imperial facility, and then there's I think it's Hunter that says to Wrecker, like, I'll just watch the ship. And then there's this what's he called?
Imperial.
Yeah, I don't remember what rank he was, but he's an Imperial officer.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, that's it. So there's an Imperial officer there, and he's like, halt, like, your armor isn't regulation, he says to Hunter.
Yeah, and he says about your, I think he says something, yeah, and he's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and then Rampart takes control, and he's like, step aside, soldier. He's like, Lieutenant, these are my I can't remember what he says. These are my group of soldiers.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, if you have a problem with this, and you can take it up with Tarkin.
Yeah.
So not only is he like name drop Tarkin, he's just like, you know, he's made them look like a legit professional thing, and he's not lost his way of being like a commanding officer. You know, he's very much, you know, the guy's like kind of scared.
Like, oh, sorry.
He's like, oh, sorry, you're working with Tarkin, no worries, like, carry on. So
yeah,
it's quite good. It's quite clever, really, because he's got them out of trouble.
So then they walk down this corridor, and they see some Imperial talking to a TK trooper. Now, this TK trooper, someone mentioned in a breakdown video that he was a like pilot, because he had the like tubes,
he's got like tubes on,
which I thought was really interesting. And then we see some more TK troopers go past, and then just before they get to this bit here, another sort of Imperial walks past with a load of people behind him. Now, no one else seems to have pointed this out or noticed this, apart from me. Again, why is no one picking up on this? So, behind, and now I know it's not a very good picture, but behind this Imperial is a group of clone pilots.
Yep.
That is the clone pilot, like, look, like, outfit.
Yep.
So, that, I'm telling you guys, you got to look at these things, because I think that was a cool little Easter egg that
it's
people
one
miss.
Of those things you blink, you'll miss it, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, you can clearly tell from that picture there that that is a clone pilot.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cool little. It's like, what are they doing with clone pilots? Like, but yeah, I thought that was, because especially as well, because it's like the old clone pilot.
Yeah.
You know, so that's quite cool. Yeah.
And then they get to this room, and he's like, "You're relieved of duty," to these two TK guards. And then one of them goes, "We just started our shift." And he's like, "Do you want to be sent to the brig?" He's like, "Go away now before I like get you in trouble," or whatever. I can't remember what he says. So then they get in this room, and then I think it's a droid. No, it's not a droid. It's one of those ones with like the funny hats.
Like, yeah, it's like he's got the Death Star technician hat. Yeah. But he's in the sort of just like an Imperial sort of like uniform, but like a grey one.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
And he's like, oh, send me the manifest. And then the guy says to Rampart, he's like, no, I need your like identification number or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but obviously it's something they don't have. And then there's a bit where Rampart sort of looks to Hunter, or is it Hunter? But then they just take out this guy, and they're like, right, let's go get this information. So, I can't remember what happens now.
Oh, so they take it out and
They give it the
Echo
information.
plugs
Oh, that's
his
it.
hand
Echo
into the
puts
thing.
his it's like droid arm into the machine and gets the information, and then
They learn that a science vessel is leaving the station like really
Oh,
soon
yeah,
to
yeah.
Tantis. So they're like,
So they change the plan again, and they're like, right, we need Echo to get onto that ship to get the information we need, because I think it was like restricted or something, wasn't it?
no. So what they then realise is they're like, right, we need Echo to disable the proximity sensors.
That was it.
So then we're gonna then basically attach our ship, like shuttle,
And then it's
to the ship to
go
then
straight to Tantis.
Yeah, with them basically going along for the ride.
So there's a cool scene where Echo is on the ship and he puts his droid arm into the
we
thing.
forgot a bit with Wrecker and the other Imperial.
What do you mean?
So there's this really
many
funny
Imperials.
scene, the one from earlier that was like,
Mhm.
like you're not regulation, whatever. And there's this really funny scene, and I think they've done this to be like the way that the sort of generation is today.
Mhm.
And Wrecker's meant to be sort of keeping an eye on the ship, and he's sat there in the back
on his data pad.
his like legs are crossed, and he's just there like on his data pad, almost like someone like on their phone, like TikTok,
Yeah.
like yeah. And the guy's like front and center,
Yeah.
and yeah. And he's like, "Where's your captain?" And he's like, captaining."
Yeah. And then they come back through, and they sort of take him out.
And then Hunter's like, Wrecker's like, "Oh, I'll show you," because he's like, "Where's your ship manifesto?" He's like, "Oh, it's over here," and he's just like,
yeah,
takes him out, and then they get back on the ship.
Back on. And then
Echo manages to sneak aboard.
Yeah, Echo's on the other ship.
But he sneaks aboard, like, he was really sneaky there. Like, he was doing some, like, flips and twists.
Yeah.
And then he entered it, like, without nearly getting seen by a commando, but he goes up through one of the droid tubes.
Oh, yeah.
That we see, like...
Very, like, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
But he ends up getting on the ship. He's in one of the, like, terminals, and they sense it. So they send a TK trooper down. He takes them out, and then they've got like one of those like comm microphone
like, what's
things.
the matter? What's going on down there? We need to
Tell
go.
us what's going on. And he's like, I think it was a malfunction.
A droid malfunction.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay.
So then obviously because they're gonna take off to Tantis, Hunter. He's actually learned something from Fee here from the last episode. So to be like stealthily flying the ship to the other one. So you kind of like cuts the power so they don't sense him. And obviously you got Echo on the other side as well. And then just as they're about to jump to hyperspace, he sort of like magnetizes to the bottom, and then they go into hyperspace.
But I will say as well,
Hunter's there.
There was a really cool bit that I really liked. Basically, Rampart's on the ship, and he's like, "This idea, it's not going to work. Like, it's not gonna happen."
And he's just not listening to him.
Crosshair is like, Echo will come through.
Yeah,
it's something like it's Echo's doing it or something.
Yeah, you can tell Crosshair.
Like, I really like that line, because I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like. It's Echo or it's Crosshair fully being like, trusted. Echo will do this. Like, it doesn't matter that you think it's like Echo will do it. Yeah. And that was really cool. And then Yeah, they get onto the ship just as it's about to jump the high speed, light speed, light speed,
Hyperspace, yeah.
and it ends. The episode ends just as we see the science ship and the shuttle blast off down into towards Tantis. So it's like 2 episodes to go.
I'm very excited for this finale, though.
Yeah, 2 episodes to go. We're going towards Tantis.
Yeah.
This is crazy. It's very crazy.
I really hope nothing happens to Baron, and
Please don't.
I really hope that Omega and the other kids and everyone should just get out there.
I'm gonna say this sounds like really bad, but I really hope. No, sorry, I don't hope, but I would accept. I guess I'm bad. A Bad Batch person dying, as long as Ben survives. I don't think I could cope with Ben dying.
Yeah.
If a Bad Batch goes, I will be sad, but no, not Ben. Don't do this to me. Don't.
No. Oh.
But yeah, so yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, though. I think it was a really good episode for you to be like, get you excited for the last 2 episodes. It's like, oh
yeah,
God.
Definitely.
It's coming. It's coming a lot sooner than
I think. Like, what I don't know what will happen with Rampart, because at the end of the day, he's the one that destroyed Topoka City on Camino. So there is this like grudge that the clones have towards him. However, if he does help them get out and get Omega, is he redeemed? I don't know.
Maybe. If he saved Ben, he's redeemed.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I mean,
he didn't exactly kill any clones on Camino, but he did kill Commander Wilco, and that was a bit of an annoying one.
Maybe he can become kind of like a Tala from Kenobi, where like he's like an undercover boss. I see what you mean, but I don't think so, because also I feel like he was. They knew him in the Senate. He was arrested in the Senate. So yeah, they know of him. Yeah. They know his face,
but yeah.
He didn't have a mustache then, so
I think you could. But so that, I think that was quite a busy episode.
I really liked that episode.
Yeah. A lot going on, a lot of emotions, but we're all good. So I'm going to start with meme of the week, because you guys have basically seen it. This website is advertising Anakin Skywalker wigs. It looks nothing like it at all.
No.
And someone very cleverly has photoshopped a wig like it onto Anakin versus Kenobi. And it says, "Don't make me call your manager." Yes, I could imagine someone. Yeah. I could imagine Anakin being like that with that hairstyle.
It's quite like a Karen kind of hair.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point. But I think it's funny, because it's nothing like Anakin's hair at all, is it?
No, but I just think that's brilliant.
So Anakin went to the hairdresser.
He went to the salon. But yeah, I thought that was good.
That was very cool.
So we have
Troopers of the Week.
Okay, so I have my one. So I do my one first?
Yeah, if you can.
So mine is D-Woon Customs. Very cool guy. Basically, he takes Hot Toys. Is it just Hot Toys, or is it like other figures as well?
I think it's just Hot Toys.
So he takes Hot Toys and he paints them to a, shall we say, a like accurate, like as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, here he is doing a Coruscant Guard, like painting. Like, look at this. Like, look how detailed it is and how good it looks.
And he's done all the little like chips.
Yeah. Anyway, so definitely go check him out, because if you want some figures, like this is one that you would like want him to do. So
Yeah, very cool.
yeah, the Wound Customs.
Yeah. So my trip of the week is the Echo cosplay, and he met Tim Morrison in his Echo cosplay, which I think looks really cool.
Wow.
Like, I love how he's done like the robotic arm, because I feel like that would be so difficult to do. And the fact he's met Tim, we met Tim, but
Yeah.
in cosplay. He also has another picture where he met Hayden at Celebration in his 501st Echo armor, which that's a very cool picture with him and 212.
Yeah.
With Hayden. So I just thought it was really cool. Some really cool cosplays by him. And he's done a few like collaborations with other cosplayers as well, but very cool. So that's the Echo cosplay with like underscore. The underscore Echo underscore cosplay.
That's a cool little shout out.
Very cool.
So yeah, so we're gonna end it there, guys. We know it's been a bit of a long one for you, but
There was a lot to go through.
there was. There
So
won't be
we've
so
gone
much
through
next week.
our Madame Two Swords adventures, Star Wars Outlaws, Tales of the Jedi,
Two Bad Batch.
Acolyte, 2 Bad Batch episodes, all in one.
It won't be as much next week, hopefully, but
Yeah.
we will see you then.
We'll see you
And
next week.